How the angry girl became a sorceress. Once upon a time there was a girl named Lyra. She was 8 years old and she studied in the 2nd grade. Lyra was a very sensitive girl who often got upset by the actions of those around her. But one day she got really upset. You see, her desk neighbor, a boy named Artie, copied her entire math test, and he didn't even manage to do it very well. At one point he yawned and copied her answer incorrectly. But ironically, Lyra herself had made an error in that spot. As a result, Artie ended up with the correct answer because he had copied her mistake wrong, while Lyra's test had the mistake. The teacher praised Artie but pointed out Lyra's error. Lyra was furious and upset. During recess, she ran up to Artie and yelled, "That's not fair! You shouldn't have been praised because you copied everything!" "The true skill of cheating is copying only what's right and skipping over the mistakes," Artie replied. "Oh, is that so?" Lyra felt a strange power surging into her hands from her anger. "It would be better if your head turned into a wooden stump so you could never copy again." Lyra waved her hand at Artie and then something incredible happened. His head swelled, darkened and turned into a real wooden stump with bark, branches and rings. Artie grabbed his new head with his hands, felt it and was about to scream, but he couldn't. After all, stumps don't have mouths. Then he shook his stump head, turned around and ran off as fast as he could. But stumps don't have eyes either, so Artie soon crashed into a wall with a loud thud, bounced back and fell onto the floor. "What have you done?" a voice called from behind Lyra. She turned around and saw Boris, another classmate. Lyra instantly remembered how Boris had pulled her hair tail last week. Her hands shot up on their own. "This is for touching my hair!" she yelled. Boris's palms stretched, his fingers fused together, and his hands turned into long, flexible, soft tentacles that wriggled like worms. "Oh!" Boris screamed. Unlike Artie, his mouth was still in place. "Help!" And the boy ran into the classroom. A minute later he came back with the teacher, pointing at Lyra with his pink, soft tentacle that now replaced his hand. "What's going on here?" the teacher asked, staring in horror at Artie, who had turned into a stump-headed person. "Lyra, turn everything back to the way it was right now. Maybe you should start paying more attention to who's copying tests in the class," Lyra hissed, angrily waving her hands again. The teacher instantly turned into a huge brown toad covered in disgusting warts. The toad sat quietly in the middle of the school hallway, curiously looking at the horrified pupils. Finally the toad stirred, opened its enormous mouth and croaked loudly. "Ribbit!" The children screamed and ran in all directions. Even Lyra herself was scared of what she had done and fled. She hid in the school bathroom. There she caught her breath and looked into the mirror. Her sad, tear-streaked face stared back at her. "What have you done?" Lyra cried at her reflection, waving her hands again. She didn't even know how it happened. It seemed that she was upset and angry with herself, and the punishment came to her mind automatically. Lyra's hands moved on their own, and she watched in horror as her neat little nose turned into a large pink big snout in the mirror. Lyra crouched down, covered her face with her hands, and started to sob loudly. No one from the whole school dared to approach her or comfort her, fearing she might turn them into something or attach something extra to them. Only Kate, Lyra's closest friend, soon found the courage to approach her. She sat down next to Lyra, hugged her and quietly said, It seems like you're a sorceress, Lyra. That's amazing. I'm even a little jealous. Sorceress can do all sorts of wonderful, beautiful and helpful things. And I think you can too. But first you need to fix what you did when you were in a bad mood. Yes, I need to fix it, Lyra agreed, standing up and wiping away her tears. First, she changed her nose back to normal. Then she turned the teacher back into a human, restored Boris's normal hands, and turned the stump on Artie's shoulders back into a head. She apologized to everyone. Not long after, police officers with a German shepherd, scientists, and strange people in robes came to the school. They said that lately magical abilities had been awakening in children all over the city. Some had started teleporting people randomly, as told in the story of the Bloody Lady, and another, well, she had begun turning people into all sorts of things. That's why such children had to be taught magic in addition to the regular school curriculum. From that time on, Lyra diligently studied both, and no one ever dared copy from her tests or pull her hair again.